So a few days ago, I was scrolling for YouTube looking for a video to watch to waste my time, when I came across this video I had seen a little while ago. It was a Jack vs Joreuz smug match, and I have to tell you, it was the greatest 1v1 I had ever seen. Rocket League 1v1s are a game mode of high pressure, where every mistake inevitably ends up in a goal. And at the highest level, players end up having to take the most high risk or perfect shots in order to score. And this is what makes 1v1 the most exciting game mode, in my opinion, to watch. So I clicked the video and started to watch, and decided for it to not just be for entertainment, as I did the first time, and really try to understand why certain aspects of the game were happening. And I came to these conclusions. Jack played a pretty conventional style for a modern day 1v1 player. Good 50s, good mechanics, great positioning, great defense. Pretty much what you'd find in any 1v1 player today, except he does everything better than everyone else, which makes him one of the best players in the world. What I didn't understand was Joreuz.
I'm going to be curious to see what happens in the next one. I don't think it'll be the last time we see Joreuz play that.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me?
What?
When is the main course? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, no, it's coming out. Don't worry. It's coming out, don't worry.
There's the base. Joreuz is planning there, slow play, but Jack's countering it with a fast challenge. The Joreuz switches up on the fly.
What a touch.
Oh my days!
So the only way I could think of to figure this one out was to create a training pack of all the shots I deemed meta-defining or outrageously creative. Then I practiced them until I could do them, and we'll show you guys how to do all the shots. And hopefully by the end, we can all have a little slice of Joreuz's gameplay in our own.
Sub to Jack, come back. We'll continue where we left off. Look at that from Joreuz. Oh, that's clean. Dodges the demo and then straight away gets back to the ball to completely slam it into the net. That's so sick.
What Joreuz does here is what many call an inverted half flip. For this specific scenario, I would more call it an advanced inverted half flip. But essentially the main reason for doing this is to turn around much faster, giving a huge advantage. You can see from this clip, Jack was completely caught off guard for the speed of the turn and recovery. Joreuz was really the only one doing this at the time, and I haven't really seen anyone incorporate it into their game till this day. It really is something I believe everyone should be doing, so let's take a look at how to get this done. So firstly, we'll look at how to do the standard inverted half flip. So what you want to do is front flip and cancel it by pointing your steering in the opposite direction. Then you want to air roll. My air roll right is on X and my air roll left is on L3. I do the front flip cancel, then air roll left for the first two, and then front flip cancel and use air roll right for the next two. Try doing that in free play until you get that down, and then you can learn the next step, which is what I call the advanced inverted half flip. So to do this, I do a diagonal dodge and swivel down on the same side to cancel the motion. No air roll needed. The swivel is very important here, so really make sure you're doing this circular motion to get the turn. Here I'm only doing right diagonal dodges, but just mirror the movements for the other side. So for the first shot in the training pack, you'll need to use the advanced inverted half flip. As for the second shot in the training pack, you can do either, and you can just score it the way Joreuz would in a game.
Jack denied by another air dribble bump save. Joreuz is the faster recovering player, and he's air dribbling an open net. Joreuz stays away from danger, both in his own goal and on the recovery. That's unreal.
That touch out of the corner off of the save, that is brilliant.
Joreuz always seems to find the most efficient ways of scoring, and as we saw in the first couple shots, he does it yet again with this corner wave dash. I genuinely don't see anyone else at the top level doing anything like this in 1v1. This kind of speed on the counter is way too much even for a player as positionally sound as Jack. And the best thing about these shots is that they are relatively straightforward in theory. Perfecting them on the best players in the world is another thing, but hey, one step at a time, right? So to do this, all you need to do is jump from the wall. I use right air roll and point my directional stick down to get a twist, so the top left corner of my car is pointing up. Then when my back wheels are about to touch the ground, I do a diagonal dodge to the left so that I can get the wave dash. This really isn't an easy shot to do, but what I would say is that you want to catch the ball just as it's bouncing back up on the corner.
But the bread to that flip reset goal, or a couple of Jack misplays, once making the wrong decision, and once, holy, what a touch by Joreuz.
Yeah,
This is a fun one to do. So you jump and angle your car like this. Do a diagonal dodge, then swivel around until you're close to the ball. Then simply let go of the stick and the car will flick to hit the ball. It's basically the same principle as Evample's delayed breezes, but with a diagonal dodge.
Each other, the fact that they're predicting these ridiculously high level shots over and over again shows you what they're anticipating. Again, talk about drilling in a ground shot. Joreuz doesn't often show off this kind of stuff because he's usually flip resetting for every goal, but that is how you hit a half volley, ladies and gentlemen.
Joreuz shows perfectly how to keep the ball close, and this is something a lot of top players do, so it's all about getting a close touch. There are a few ways to do this. Joreuz shows us one in this clip by using the side of his car. It's important to note that when you take this kind of touch, the idea is to use the back end of your car, so the ball will always be closer than a touch from the front end of your car. It is also important to note I'm only talking about touches from a hard part of the car, the top, front and back, not the underside. You can touch the ball with the front wheels on the underside of the car and keep the ball close, as the ball will lose a lot of momentum. Shots 6 and 7 are also in the same vein. You want to touch the ball with the wheels of the car and aero around to land on the wall and stay in control of the ball. Joreuz doesn't manage to keep full control of the ball, but he did manage to keep the ball out of danger and put into an area where Jack has to do a lot of work to set up a next attack. But remember, you always want to try and stay in control if you can. For shot 7, the close touch makes Jack in no man's land, where if he doesn't challenge, he has to face Joreuz in full control of the ball, and if he does challenge, Joreuz will do what he just did. It's really important to learn these close touches and put your opponents in these positions. This is a spoiler warning. And if you don't want the result to be spoiled and want to watch the match in full without knowing the result, skip this many seconds in the video. You'll still get all the information about how to do this, just without seeing the clip. If you fall into this category, I would recommend watching it in full for pure entertainment, but if you're like me and have seen it, or aren't too bothered with the result, here we go.
It looked like it was going to end just as it started, but Jack's going to have to try again. He's got the pump. Has he got the finish? He doesn't have it. Joreuz is there. It's open net for Joreuz. I think he's done it, Matt. I think he's beaten his rival. What a war. What a game. Jack and Joreuz with one of the best series that we have ever seen. Insanity.
So now we move on to something that is rather underappreciated, and that is the ability to half flip both ways. The importance of this is efficiency. Joreuz could only be faster than Jack in this instance by half flipping this way. Joreuz barely beats Jack to the ball, even with the most efficient route. Now most players only ever half flip one way, so imagine this shot mirrored, so you could only do the half flip Joreuz did. You wouldn't be able to win this series just because you didn't practice both sides. Now I'm not sure if Joreuz even does this. I brought this up because I saw this clutch chance and thought if I was on the wrong side, I would miss this too. And about 2 weeks ago, that was the truth. I realized in this moment, as a player looking to improve, these are things we have to get down to muscle memory. So it's not your standard backflip cancel and air roll. The advanced half flip gives an angle to the half flip, which allows you to approach the ball from wider angles to get to the back of the ball. To do this, all you need to do is diagonally dodge down, swivel around like on screen, and I like to air roll at the end to land flat on my wheels. In this example, it's a diagonally down left dodge, but just mirror the controls for the diagonally right dodge, which is what Joreuz would have needed to do to score it faster.
I'm going to be curious to see what happens in the next one. I don't think it'll be the last time we see Joreuz play that.
Oh, what? Are you kidding me?
What?
Scoop-de scoop, poop-de poop. What is this?
Just how on earth does Joreuz find
This shot was incredibly difficult for me to replicate for a few reasons. Mainly, who even thinks to go for a shot like this? It just goes to show how he breaks the mold of what is commonplace in 1v1. And just watching this shot should be a lesson for all of us, that we should be more experimental with the way we play the game. You can argue that Joreuz took this shot just because he's way more innately talented, but I don't believe that's true. I think this is the kind of game where it's so different from any other skill in life that it's almost impossible to have a god-given knack for. Meaning every skill and mechanic that you see has been developed over many hours of practice, and in Joreuz's case, the willingness to innovate where others don't. This is actually ridiculously hard to do. Like, I'm so bad at using right arrow. And things weren't going that great, so I almost contemplated taking this as the shot, which looks kind of cool, but it wasn't what Joreuz did. You know what? That you-know-what was me almost giving up and taking that shot. Until I saw the replay and realized it was too different from Joreuz's initial shot. So I went back to the drawing board and watched Joreuz's shot in more detail. Came back with all the steps I needed and had much more success. Here are my next attempts. I'm starting to just do them one after another now, so it shouldn't take too long, hopefully. I hope so. That would have been pretty accurate to what he did. I did it. The first step of this shot is waiting for the ball to drop. The reason for this is so you won't hit the ball too hard into the ceiling. So make a little pause or arrive to the ball just as it's starting to fall. The next step is to get to the left hand side of the ball. The reason for this is if you're too much on the right hand side of the ball, you'll hit it back into your half. When hitting the ball, you want to hit with the bonnet of the car to push out and not vertically up. You also want to hold your jump for as long as possible to get the car and the ball a maximum distance away from the wall. The next step is to right side up your car and dodge into the right position. I turn my car around using aero right and point my directional stick diagonally down to the left and leave my car with a little tilt on the left side like this. Then I do a diagonal right dodge and swivel right round to the opposite side to cancel the momentum of the dodge. So the underside of my car is facing the ceiling. Now comes the last step, which was the most important for me, and I did not notice this initially, and it's why I had so much trouble with this shot. So when you're getting the reset, make sure you're making contact with the ball at a similar angle to this. This will allow you to get the scoop and direction on the ball. After I discovered this, I was hitting these shots so much easier.
That's what Joreuz is planning there, slow play, but Jack's countering it with a fast challenge. So Joreuz switches up on the fly.
What a touch.
Constantly adapting. Oh my days! Joreuz is here, ladies and gentlemen. This is
Joreuz with an insanely creative shot. In terms of difficulty, for some reason it wasn't as hard for me as some of the other shots in this video, but still a challenging one to do. But what really impressed me was the creativity of it. The fact he hits the ball back towards his own half to start off is just crazy to me. Then getting a touch to reverse the direction, keeps control with more touches, and scores. Like genuinely, you probably couldn't name many who could even think to do something like this, let alone pull it off in such a high pressured environment. The first step is to roll the ball towards the wall slightly away from your opponent's half. Then you want to aim your touch to the right hand side and underside of the ball, so the net direction of the ball will be moving towards your half. But because you've hit it in a more right hand side and underside, it won't be moving fast down the field, but it will be moving vertically up. Then you want to jump and boost to get close to the ball. Start air rolling until you are upside down and into a position where you can touch the ball behind it. Boost on the touch to reverse the direction of the ball, land on the ceiling, rotate your car upright, get another touch, and score.
trying to commit to it, so Joreuz got what he wanted. That's the start of something, and that is an unreal first touch after the kickoff. Joreuz sets up his reset, can't get there, instead flicks it after catching. And we have a game, 2 goals in it. Joreuz on the comeback trail.
Joreuz doing what he does best, which is control the ball and keep you guessing on defense.
This shot yet again epitomizes his speed and efficiency. Most of us let this ball drop and roll it up the wall, or get a soft touch and take the boost and dribble. Joreuz skips those steps by speed flipping into the ball, launching it up and starting an incredibly fast aerial attack. Now I believe he wanted to finish this off with a reset, but I think his first touch got slightly away from him in the air, which makes this shot easier for me. The first touch for this shot was crazy and genuinely one of the hardest shots to replicate because of how precise you have to be. In the beginning I was just hitting the ball really high and wasting a lot of time. This shot isn't so much about power as it is about timing and precision, and to do this you really need to skim the ball gently. So I rewatched Joreuz's shot again and figured out a few things that will make this shot a lot easier to perform. My first observation was, whenever I hit the ball with the back end of my car, the ball would go super high. I noticed Joreuz hits the ball slightly further up from my hit, so I tried hitting the ball further up the car, and it would go to a nice height for me to follow up. It felt like I was scuffing my touch, and that's exactly what I was doing. But that's exactly what we need. I'm no rocket science, but I think this may be a result of the center of mass of the Octane hitbox being more towards the rear of the car. Nevertheless, this approach worked in getting the right height on the hit. The kind of flip I use is a speed flip. I haven't experimented with any other flip. I'm sure others can work, but the speed flip will definitely have the best recovery. To get a nice touch from the wall, just make sure your momentum is going vertically, but your car can't be moving very fast. Then just hit it with a hard part of your car and the ball should gain height, which you can follow up. I tried to replicate Joreuz exactly, but honestly it's hard to tell when you're faking the reset if the shot would have worked in a match. The real reason Joreuz's shot worked is because Jack didn't challenge earlier, and the reason for this is because Joreuz has earned Jack's respect throughout their time playing each other.
Appetizers, and you're just like, when is the main course? Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, no, it's coming out. Don't worry. It's coming out. Don't worry.
As we have seen in previous aerial shots from Joreuz, Jack has elected to stay on the ground. This time Jack pre-jumps, and again a pre-effortless shot for Joreuz, as he hits it right under him, showing his ability to adapt to a new defensive strategy from Jack. I do have to also say, this was one of the most satisfying and fun shots in the pack to do. So now I'll tell you what I've learned about this shot. To do this, the main thing you have to remember is we want to get a lot of vertical height. This means holding our first jump the max time to jump as high as possible. Notice I don't use boost during this first jump. This is because we need to go directly vertically up. If we use boost too early, we will move horizontally forward and will be offline with the ball. We only boost when we have managed to get our car in a vertical line with the ball. When boosting towards the ball, make sure your car is moving very straight towards the ball, as any horizontal momentum while flying will make it harder to get to the ball with enough power to continue the shot. We then get a touch on the backside of the ball, then keep boosting upwards, rotate and land on the ceiling. Then all we have to do is finish the shot.
There were teammates there, another teammates in Dignitas. So he's already thinking like, okay, come on then, how are you gonna beat me today, Jack? Let's just see it. Stop wasting my time. Okay, well Jack's like one here.
For the final shot, it's another one of Jack's early challenges that Joreuz somehow reads. I imagine he used the sound cue, or it could be he's just very used to Jack's playstyle. Whatever it was a clean read. He starts off the shot with a wave dash catch, which are incredibly efficient for keeping control and maintaining speed. To make sure you catch the ball, make sure the ball lands on the top of the front of your car. He then rolls it up the wall at speed, then gets over to the left hand side of the ball and pops it up. He does this to make sure the ball doesn't fly too far away from him. He then full boosts to the ceiling as he anticipates Jack's early challenge, finds himself on top of the ball and jumps down to finish. Jack ends up faking the challenge, but Joreuz's attack was so fast it didn't matter. Jack faking it meant he could never get back. And with that last shot, we come to the end of the video. If there was one lesson to take from this, it would be to always try new things and push yourself wherever possible. It seems like a life lesson, but I don't think I'm qualified to preach about that. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.